Well, hello, my beauties. Lenaria Gaia here, your friendly confidence coach. What a funny thing to say. Welcome to everybody. Welcome. Boy, do I have some stories to tell you about confidence in action, about living confidence when the whole world is going to tell you to be small. It really will. There is a huge amount of pressure in this world to be small. Hello to everyone's watching. Welcome everybody coming on right now. Pleasure to have you here. Out there in the world, when you are out in the big, large world that we experience, it's pretty likely that when you start to live your truth, when you start to live with confidence, when you start living a life that is authentic and genuine to you and what you want in your life, it's going to piss some people off. It just will. And there is just an immense amount of pressure in the world for you to be someone that you're not, for you to conform, for you to play a part or play a role to which other people want you to. I'm talking your friends, I'm talking your family, I'm talking your work colleagues, I'm talking the other mums or dads that you hang out with at the school drop-off, as well as society at large. The reality is that very rarely in this current society is full expression of self encouraged, validated, or invited. It's much easier for people to remain in a state of compliance and feeling like they're fitting in than it is to actually stand up for what they believe in. And I'm not talking about necessarily big issues. I'm talking about the everyday mundanity of life sometimes. It can be, a lot of people that watch me and follow me may not even have the confidence to be able to say to the waiter that their soup is cold, or to not, to say something to the person who's just pushed in line in front of them. For those of you who don't know, I was at a concert on the weekend. I went and saw the one and only Guy Sebastian. I loved it. I loved him. I loved the whole experience in so many different ways. And what you may have noticed if you watched my post today, but if you hadn't, welcome, is that at times throughout that concert, that 2-hour concert, out of the 6,000 people that were in that stadium, I was the only one that danced. Literally, standing up. I just want you to put yourself in those shoes for a moment. Can you imagine the pressure of 5,999 people sitting down, and how you would feel about standing up? How would you feel about that? Loving the hearts, loving everybody that's joined us live. Welcome. If you are here and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, give me a love so I know that you're here and you're getting it. Hey Paula, nice to have you here. If you had the experience where 5,999 other people were not dancing and they were all sitting down in their chairs, and you wanted to stand up and dance and you were the only one, how would that feel for you? Maybe pop it in the comments if you're watching live. Even if you're not watching, pop it in the comments and let me know, even just feeling into it and thinking about it right now, how does it feel for you to be the only one standing up, whooping, screaming, dancing, and having the time of your life in front of 6,000 other people? Because I tell you what, I've been doing this work, self-love, confidence, stepping into my own sovereignty, being my own best friend, living a life that is truest and authentic for me. And I've been doing this work for a good, I want to say 15, 20 years. So the first 20 years of my life, I learned how to hate myself, and I spent the last 20 years of my life undoing that-ish. And I'm pretty darn good at this. I'm pretty darn good at it, and I have practiced, and I practice, and I learn, and I develop. What would it be like for you, though? What would it be like for you to be the only one? Not only that, my friends, what would it be like for you, like this happened to me, where the first time I was dancing, I was hanging around in my chair, dancing in my chair, because you're not allowed to dance anywhere else. So I was dancing in my chair, like standing up, but in my spot, in my allocated seating. And when a slower song came on, I sat down. I wasn't keen to dance anymore for that period of time. And the security guard came up to me and told me that I wasn't allowed to dance. I said, are you about to tell me that I'm not allowed to dance at a concert? And he goes, well, if everybody else is standing up, then you can. But otherwise, you're blocking the view for everybody else. Now, this might be quite a controversial kind of topic. I don't know what your views are. Let me know. The reality is, for me, my experience of being at a concert, if people start standing up in front of you and you can't see, then you need to stand up. And there's a ripple effect that happens throughout the concert. This didn't happen because instead of other people staying in their own sovereignty, they tried to bring me down. It's a pop concert, by the way. It's Guy Sebastian, for those of you who don't know him. He is like a pop star, right? It's poppy, it's dancey, it's groovy, it's pop music. And most of us have not been in a concert for the last 2.5 years. And at what point does my desire outweigh other people's desire? I know there's a balance there. I appreciate that. Why should I have to sit down and ruin my experience of it for the sake of all the people behind me, right? They then have the sovereignty to be able to stand up. Let me know what your thoughts are around this. I'm super curious. Because the security guard said, if everybody else is standing up, you can. Well, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I bring the vibe. Why, if you look at this not just from a concert point of view, but if I wait for permission of the crowd of 6,000 people, I would have spent the whole time sitting down at that concert. Until such point, as Guy Sebastian said to everybody, you've been sitting down for 2.5 years, stand up for the last 2 songs. I danced the whole concert, opposed to the rest of the audience who only danced for 2 songs. Now, it's fascinating. Not only was I told by security that I needed to sit down, and I said, well, I'm just going to dance off to the side. Where can I dance? And he goes, you can't. You can't stand up and dance until everybody else does. Was I rude? Maybe. Was I inconsiderate of those behind me? Most definitely not. Mainly because I considered them. I knew that by me standing up, I would block their view. They also have legs and they can stand up. I went off to the side as much as I could. And I stood in my power. I stood in my own being. I allowed myself, no matter how confronting it might have been, that 5,999 other people did not dance, but I did. Owning our confidence is something that comes with practice. It comes with time. It comes with doing it in the micro moments. 8 years ago, I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. But now with practice, I've made progress. And I say this because it's not going to necessarily take you 8 years. For those of you who hang out in the Self-Love Sisterhood, which is my group coaching program, for those of you who are coming to my free confidence, power, and self-mastery training coming up on May 9th, if you haven't already, send me a DM, comment on this, and I'll get you included. For those people that are in my Confident, Powerful Women program, which is my one-on-one coaching, anybody who's been in my field, you get to learn this faster. You get to learn it on Hijack. You don't have to wait 8 years to get this because I'm teaching you how to do it. Because the fear was still there. I want to highlight that for you. The fear was still there for me. I still had the moment of, oh my gosh, I wish everybody else would stand up so I wouldn't look so obvious that I was the only one. I wish that the people around me weren't uncomfortable by me taking up space. I wish that the woman in front of me who complained about my yelling hurting her ears to me directly and told me to be quiet. I wish that all those things didn't happen. And it would have been nicer for me, a more positive experience for me, had none of those things happen and had everybody get into the groove. But my loves, if we wait for other people to determine and give you permission on how you want to live your life, then you are going to be waiting your whole life. You're going to be waiting an extremely long time. And your life is happening right now. You know what I did with my fear? The fear that came up around being ostracized, about pissing people off, about literally getting told off. I'm a recovering good girl. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Getting told off by people was a big deal for me. And what I do and what I've been practicing is when that fear comes up, I say, hello, fear, I can hear you. And I want you to know that I know that you want to fit in with the rest of this crowd. I know that you want to fit in. My beautiful ego, my mind, my small self, my thoughts, my beautiful fear mind. I know that you want to fit in, but I want you to know that you belong to me. You and I belong together, and no matter where we go and what we do, the whole world can hate us, but I love you and I belong. You belong here with me. And I reassured myself that the fear is there and you're coming with me. Come on, fear, off you jump, we're going to get up and dance. And you know what happened? At one point, I ducked off and I went to the bathroom. As quickly as I possibly could. Hello to everyone who's just joined. I ducked off quickly to the bathroom, and as I've come out of the bathroom, a gentleman stopped me. And he said, sorry, excuse me. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, you are making this show. He goes, thank you. I've been watching you, like your energy is amazing. You've been making this show for me. And I said, thank you so much. And I carried on. I have no idea how many people I pissed off on Saturday night, but I also have no idea how many people I inspired. I have no idea how many people I made the show for, because I chose to live in my complete open-heartedness. I chose to dance and groove and love the experience and be there present to this moment. I chose to do that despite the fear. And that's what I want to highlight to you here. The fear was there. The fear continued to be there. The people pleaser in me wanted to go, oh my God, just sit down, Lena. Please just sit down. Stop putting yourself. Don't put a target on your back. My people pleaser wanted to do that. My ego, my fear, my self-doubt, all of that came up. Don't get me wrong. And I chose to live from my heart. That takes courage. It takes practice. Whenever you come across something that is scary, whenever you need to go against the grain because your heart wants something else, be considerate, be kind, and live your truth. Live the way that you need to live. Because this is your lives, my love. This is your life. You don't get to live it again. Nobody gets to live it for you. Everybody's experience of that concert was entirely unique to them. And my experience of the concert was that of an absolute blast. I lived my truth. I lived my heart. And that meant, yes, that put a target on my back. But it also meant that I got to live free. Don't you want to live free? If you're watching on the recording, if you're watching live, if you're listening on the podcast, leave me a comment, get in touch with me. Don't you want to live free? Aren't you sick and tired of living by the rules of what society thinks that you should or shouldn't do? There's probably a whole bunch of people in that audience that think that I'm an asshole. There's a whole bunch of people in that audience that don't like me, who think that I'm rude, who think that I'm obnoxious, who think that I'm too loud and I take up too much space. And there's probably a whole bunch of people in that audience who think that I'm amazing. There's a whole bunch of people who go, wow, I wish I could be like that. There's a whole bunch of people who would be looking at me as an example and wishing that they could be free. And they're the people that I want to talk to. Because the world, some people are not going to be ready for the level of self-expression that I have. The level of sovereignty that I have. The level of freedom and self-awareness that I have within myself. I know that a whole bunch of people don't have that. And some people are so intimidated by that they will try to bring you down. Some people will try to bring me down. But there's a whole bunch of you, those that are maybe watching, those that you are then listening, those of you that hang out with me on a more regular basis. You might not ever want to dance while 6,000 other people sit down. You might not ever want to do that. Or strut around your bikini like I do, or whatever. But I know that there's an authentic expression that you want to experience. There's an authentic expression of you that has been hidden, that has been imprisoned, that has been limited by the expectations of what you think other people want from you. And those other people do want things from you. They want you to be small. The world doesn't feel necessarily comfortable with you shining. And that's okay, my loves. You are not here to make people feel comfortable. Yes, be considerate. Yes, be kind, but to you first, and then to others. Hey, Tom. Hey, Essence. Hey, Paula. Lovely to have you all here. My loves, what's so important for you to remember on the journey of true, authentic living. True connection to your heart, living the way that you want to live, is that you don't get to do this again. I don't get to have Saturday night again. That's on a very micro. I don't get to go to that concert again. Do I want to walk away from that concert kicking myself that I didn't dance and sing the way that I wanted to? That I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I could because I was too stuck in my head? No, I don't want to experience that. I've done that a lot in my life and I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm sure that you don't either. That's why you're here. That's why we're hanging out. You don't want to live that way anymore. You don't want to experience that. You want to live fully, abundantly, expressively. You want to be able to be you in whatever version that happens to be on whatever given day. And I want that for you too. I want that for you too, because if we had a world where people were okay to be their fully expressive self while being kind and considerate to others, then we would never have a concert of 6,000 people sitting on their asses. Because I can tell you that at least, I can't know for sure, but at least 2,000 or 3,000 people wanted to be standing up and dancing, but they didn't have the courage to do so. And their concert was severely diminished because of that fear. And that's just true in the micro. This happens in the macro as well. How many times have you done things in your life whereby you wish that you would have done it differently? You wish that you would have danced. You wish that you would have gotten up and sung karaoke that time. Or you wish that you would have said your truth or told that person that you liked them. There's going to come a day, my loves, where you don't get to make new decisions anymore in this life. And I want you to live the fullest, most beautiful expression of life that you can possibly live. Because I know what the freedom feels like to go from being passive, to go from being limited, to go from not liking and loving myself to a place where I'm completely free. The fear is still there, the doubt is still there, but the freedom is the thing that wins. And I want this for you. It's why I keep running the trainings that I do. I'm running free trainings. I do group work with my sisters in the Self-Love Sisterhood. It's why I do one-on-one. It's why I'm doing speaking gigs. It's why I continue to come on live here, because irrelevant of your budget, irrelevant of whether or not you hang out with me in a professional sense, I want you to be able to feel this freedom. This is my mission here on earth, I believe, to be able to help as many people as possible to feel that. If you want a taster of this, if you want to hang out with me, if you want to come to a free training, whether or not you're a client of mine already, whether or not we already hang out or you have done in the past or you've been to a free training of mine already, come along. It's for women. It's for women who want to feel like they want to be able to be freely and express themselves. Confidence, power, and self-mastery. To be able to move through those feelings and thoughts in your mind of fear and doubt, and to allow yourself the beautiful freedom of self-love, the beautiful freedom of self-sovereignty, the beautiful freedom of confidence and power and self-mastery. We start on May 9th, which is Monday week, yesterday fortnight. We're going to run for 7 days. We're going to hang out. Yeah. And it's going to be a powerful transformation for you. And I want you to be a part of it. I'm going to put the link in the comments below in a bit. When I share this, when I do all the stuff, I'll let it know. If you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube, check the link in the comments, because I want you to be able to grow in the same way that I've had this beautiful experience. Yeah. A couple of comments. I did that at a Pink concert a little while ago. I lived a little liquid courage and didn't care what nasty people thought. Yeah, imagine, I saw a couple of other girls that did dance at some point in time and they were drinking. And I want you to also recognize here that this whole process that I've just told you about, I was sober, entirely sober. And I don't mean that makes me any better or whatever, but imagine if you could live your life so free without needing a liquid courage. Imagine if you could be your truest, authentic self without being, filtered by any intoxicants. Holly said, I sang karaoke once in a country pub. A drunk local man afterwards asked me, why did I sing when I can't? I said, because it's fun, but felt a bit self-conscious after the comment. Yeah, see? People want to bring you down when they do not are able to live expressive, and when you are an example of confidence and power and living your best life. There are certain people, not everybody, but there are certain people who will feel more comfortable if they took you down a peg. Yeah? How very dare you sing karaoke when you, quote, can't sing? How very dare you? He feels better about himself. Really, he probably has an underlying fear that he really wants to get up there and sing, but he can't. And he's too afraid, and you didn't let the fear stop you. You hear what I'm saying here? People will look at that. Some people will look at that and want to bring you down because it makes their reality more comfortable. The fact of the matter is that there were people in that concert on Saturday who wanted to dance, and they were threatened by the fact that I had overcome my fear. And that's okay, because I'm going to keep living me. I'm going to keep living the beautiful life that I've created for myself, and I'm going to keep teaching you beautiful humans how to do it for yourself, because I want to live in a world where we can freely express ourselves. Again, with kindness, again, with compassion, again, with consideration for both myself and others. But I don't want anybody else. I don't want to live in a world anymore where we hold ourselves back, where we cut off our edges, where we squish ourselves so that we make other people comfortable. No, I'm aware that I make people uncomfortable. I'm aware of that. And I squished myself my whole life so that other people wouldn't feel uncomfortable in my presence. And now, my loves, I shine. And that will make others uncomfortable. And for others, I will be an inspiration. And for even others still, I will be the guiding light to help them shine. And the more of us that are shining in the world, the better this world becomes. We don't hate others when we love ourselves. We don't fight with others when we're not fighting with ourselves. We do not have war externally when we're at peace with ourselves. And this is what I want for us in the world, for you, for me, for all of us, for your loved ones. And why I'm going to continue to do this work. And why I'm inviting you, yes, you personally, to come to the confidence, power, and self-mastery training that I start on May 9th in a couple of weeks' time. I'd love to have you there. I'd love for you to have this experience so that I can show you exactly how to do it. I love you, and I hope that you love you too. Sending you big love.